Good morning. I'm Rick Tolliver. We're going to do another posting today on YouTube. We are talking about recovery. I am a recovery freak, but even more so, I'm a Jesus freak. I recently have been posting on my blog about my feelings about recovery and some of the programming. I love it all. The 12-step programs are great. But I have been led to place some more emphasis on things that were important to me for the past 27 years in my one day at a time recovery. And those things are something I believe can be shared by everybody who has a need and a desire to get sober and stay sober. So I'm going to talk today about reality check. And just very briefly, recently I was asked by some family members to help a nephew with some of his difficulties. He's 17 years old. He's having some issues with society's temptations that invade the life of a 17-year-old. And so I began to look in a very large city where he lives for some recovery type support that was meaningful and consistent and there when he might need it with proven power. I found that there was a lack and I was somewhat surprised at the level of lack, to be honest. And we seem to be lacking power in some of our recovery efforts, just as we are in many, if not most, of our churches today. So I'm going to discuss this little reality check. And I'm going to share with you some comments from a recent blog. My blog address is ricksnewbookblog.com. You can also find it daily on our book website, which is worldwarmememoir.com. And you can also find them now pretty much on YouTube as well, maybe someplace else. Anyway, so I'm just going to share from this blog that I wrote a few days ago. It says, I love the existing recovery programs. They help people, which is the definition of ministry. Ministry should be defined as helping people, giving away what we've been given. God is always the best medicine, okay? Generally, the modern churches are lacking in skills or urgency regarding dealing with addictions. They just are. They're pretty much in denial, bless their hearts. They can, however, they can be and should be one additional tool in our support efforts. Based on my experiences, I'd like to see a modified Celebrate Recovery type program, which comes together, which has meetings every night, 7 nights a week, 365. That consistency and safe place environment, along with the daily positive input into my life, was my ticket to ride and my sanity. For 2 years, that was the daily routine that was required for my enlightenment, my restoration, and my recovery, followed later by my anointed engagement, array. So AA meets daily or nightly and has a close-knit fellowship. Gotta love them for that. However, they're hesitant and vague regarding the power of recovery, which is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the King of Kings. As a Jesus freak, I was compelled to shy away from that higher power thing. And I was no longer an alcoholic because of his power and love. So I could not label myself as an alcoholic, but rather a born again son of God. We'll talk some more about this later. I assure you I'm no longer a rebel rouser. There was a time when I was. I'm kind of growing up now, maybe. But I love these programs. I'm not in any way putting them down. However, again, based on my experience, the evidence indicates that when I was ripe for the picking, when I was ready to allow God to change my life, when I was ready to admit my sin and all its horror, and come clean with God, allow him to fill me with his spirit and his love, his compassion, his hope, his joy, his promises. I needed consistent daily support. And I believe that's imperative. I also think the 12-step program is fine, but let's cut right to the chase. Let's just let Jesus have the whole thing. That's where the power is at, the freedom, the healing, the hope, the only place. So I'm going to be talking more about this. Again, as I wrote my book, World War Me Memoir by Rick Tolliver. That was, anyway, that was the cover. So as I wrote that, God shared with me some things about maybe incorporating the things I've learned and been given into a program that is more consistent, simpler, and hard hitting. Tough love is what saved me, and that's all I have to give is tough love. All right, so I want you to have a wonderful day. Keep up with us on all the social activities that we're involved in, and I truly wish you a wonderful day in the Lord. Take care. Till tomorrow.